Welcome, beautiful souls, to the very first episode of a five-part series. Fifth episode of a five-part series, Empowerment and Personal Growth. I'm host Latasha Scurry. This is Let's Talk, where real conversations spark real change. Tonight's theme is women supporting women, and I couldn't be more thrilled to kick off this journey with you. This series is all about growth, grace, and glowing up together. So grab your tea, settle in, and let's create a moment that uplifts, inspires, and connects. So joining me tonight is a powerhouse duo with who embody the spirit of sisterhood. First, my co-host Lena Davis, an advocate of women's wellness and a radiant voice in our community. Lena brings wisdom, warmth, and a fierce commitment to lifting others up. And our special guest, Sherri Phillips, a transformational coach, speaker, and author whose work has helped thousands of women reclaim their power. Sherri's story is one of resilience, reinvention, and radical self-love. Ladies, welcome to the show. Hello, Sherri. How are you tonight?
I'm great. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. Here's my co-host. She's always my handy right hand. How you doing?
Hey.
Ladies, it has been an interesting night already today. And this is when I say to you, I need my ladies. So the topic tonight is very special and dear to me. Women supporting women. And so, we can talk about beauty of women supporting women's. And I'm reminded all the time that sometimes the smallest gestures and encouraging words are shared, and just a listening ear can spark life into someone. So let's just jump right into our topic tonight. And our very first question: who is someone who has uplifted you or inspired you in your life today? All right, Miss Sherri, start it off.
So I will say, I thought about this when you let me know what the topic was, and the person that I will name, I actually will not name a single person. I will tell you a story instead. So I will just say that I had been with my employer for 20 years and had different roles increasing in scope and responsibility, and then took a buyout last August, and with sort of September being the end for me, and then spent 10 months looking for a job and jumped out, totally believing in myself and in my abilities to reinvent myself, as you said in your intro, and jumped out into one of the worst job markets in probably decades. The job that I now have, I have because of certainly the Lord. You see me wearing my cross, but God uses people. And he really did use my sister circle to help me. Specifically, there's one woman with whom I went to college. She knew that I had been looking. We had been encouraging each other for months. And I would send her job listings and she'd send them to me, and we mined our networks for each other. And she says, I'm going to go to a networking event tonight. I'll let you know who I meet. And she went to that networking event. She met someone who says, oh, I'm leaving my current position and my job will be posted in a couple of weeks. And that sister went on to say, you should meet my friend Sherri. I'm going to tell her about this job. She'd be great for you to have. And so I was looking for the posting when it arrived. The woman was looking for me because not only had that friend dropped my name, she'd also followed up with an email about my skills and responsibilities and why I would make a great person for that particular team. And that was above and beyond. And so I am where I am today, literally because of the generosity of women.
Awesome. So, ladies, if you're watching this live or if you have to hit replay, I want you to be interactive, ask questions, drop who is important to you in your life and why. So, Miss Helena, can you expound on that? Someone who has inspired. Can I pause for a second? Because I told you guys we would have a special guest. That special guest has arrived. Young lady, you have to sit up.
I am sitting up. Can you hear me?
Yes. So tonight I'm welcoming my youngest daughter, Taylor Scurry, to the conversation. And this is just a panel of women talking. And right now, Taylor, the question is, who is someone in your life, a woman who has inspired you or uplifted you? And Miss Sherri just shared hers, and Miss Lena's going to expound on that.
Well, I'm gonna let Miss Taylor go first.
Okay. I would like to say my mom. You're my mom. So obviously you have been a pillar in my life. I've gotten a lot of my advice from you, and every time I need some type of help or something, you've always been there to guide me along the way, whether it be in scripture, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially, anything of the sort. So I would say you're a good example.
All right. So Miss Sherri shared with us. Thank you, Taylor, for that. I am your mother, and it comes with a lot of pain as well. But Miss Sherri shared someone who touched her in her career, and not everyone gets that. You know, who can uplift you and create that. For me, I was in the 11th grade, and of course, I'm going to say my mother. But when I was in the 11th grade, there was a teacher who she was the meanest lady I probably ever ran across, ever. But she was so structured, you felt safe in her classroom.
Mhm.
So when I really started to just watch her, I said, you know what? I actually want to be like her. And I started to do things like her, and I didn't notice her until my 11th grade year. But for the next 2 years, I spent time just studying her mannerisms. And I think from there, I kind of mimicked my career that I have now after Miss Clemens. So anybody who's watching this and knows our high school business teacher, it was Miss Clemens for me.
So I would say, everybody has that story of I look up to my mom or my mom was that person. I remember a lady who I'm still very close to now. When I was maybe 22, 23, she was in a very high position work wise, and we just hit it off immediately.
Mhm.
She was at the time, she was a single parent to twin boys. And whenever her kids outgrew clothes, they would always go to Darius. So
Mhm.
she kind of made sure, like, this is what your son should be looking like. This is how he should be dressing. So, like, kind of low key molding me and him. And
Mhm.
I can honestly say to this day, and I'm way adultish, that is one person who, if I'm going through something, I'll get a random text. I'm praying for you. I got Madison on the prayer wall. And it's like clockwork. She's so in sync with me that it's like if I'm going through something, if I think I might be going through something, she always sends a text at the most appropriate time. And that's been my person.
Okay.
You know, it's like I can always just pick up the phone and say, hey. And it's not so much like a one sided thing, but it's always I can call her on the phone at any given time and say, talk me through this. Do I need to go for this job? Do I need to go for that job? And she was the one person who encouraged me to move out of New York City because I
Okay.
worked for her. And she said, if you go and you don't like it, I'll always have a job for you.
Okay.
So me being able to leave changed the game.
All
I
right.
never had to turn around and go back.
Right.
Mhm.
And for my viewers, go ahead, drop us a chat, drop us in the chat comment who has been someone who has uplifted you. We're talking about women now and inspired you to in recent time, because it could be somebody who's a mentor, a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, anybody, because that smallest gesture means a lot. And today I had a revelation. A young man got in trouble today, and the parent came in. She was very spiritual. And the one thing she said is, you know, What is that outside entity that's controlling you to make you have to react to people? She says, you need to get a hold of that. And in that moment, it did remind me of my mom. I was like, look at her softness. And this is a lady who I didn't know, who's actually given her son some advice that touched me. So we as ladies have to be cognizant of our surroundings and how we react to things, because we never know who we're impacting. And today
Mhm.
she touched me. It almost brought a tear to my eyes because I don't have mom anymore. Sometimes I have to call Lena and say, hey, what I do, and that's when we don't have that connection anymore to the people that were close to us. So how do we react with that? And especially Sherri, Lena, Taylor, raising young ladies today. Social media has changed so much that it's hard to stay true to traditional values. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense. I mean, I think about that a lot. I think about the way I grew up in small town Georgia, um,
Mm-hmm.
rural Georgia, and the ladies, the culture ladies at my church. There were some culture ladies who talked a certain way and who made you want to talk a certain way and who would tell you to sit up straight and to enunciate and who would tell you, you have a speech. It's not, do you want to have an Easter speech? No, you have it. Here it is. Know it by this date. And we don't get up with papers. We know it. Put that paper down. There were
Yep.
certain expectations, and a lady does this and she does that. So it's really hard, and I feel sometimes that when I tell my daughter some things, well, I'm just like Miss So and So, but I feel like if I don't tell her, who's gonna tell her? Like now
Right,
it's my turn. It's my
right.
turn to tell her. And so she might be mad at me and she might not like it, but I didn't like everything my mother said either. She was right about probably 99.9% of the things she
Yes,
told me. So,
yes.
Yeah. So here's that thriving question that I've been wanting to ask, because like you said, so social media has made us so selfish. How do we support each other in everyday life that's meaningful? What do we do?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Can I take the lead since
Please.
I'm the younger one on the podium?
yes.
Miss Sherri, I loved your tone when you said that. Even though you said you don't agree with a lot of the things your mom said, she probably was right about a lot of things. I think it starts with how we talk to one another, especially when we're talking about generational divides. It's not always what you say, it's how you say it. So when you're coming
Delivery.
at somebody and you're like ready to yell because you're frustrated, you don't know how to get the message across, it really hones in on how you say it, because the tone can change the entire direction of the conversation, the entire trajectory.
Absolutely.
Can
And
I can I piggyback on something Taylor just said?
mhm.
Um, you're absolutely right when you say it's the tone. It's also the delivery.
Hmm.
And I have to say, what this younger generation doesn't understand about the older generation is kids really don't come with a manual. Sometimes we do what we were shown. Sometimes we kind of respond to things in the not so new world kind of way. So, like your mom said, traditional. There's still an expectation because of the generation we come from, how things are supposed to look and how things are supposed to be. Somewhere along the line, we got such a big gap between those traditional values and what these young adults are experiencing now. So you're missing the mark on a lot. Yeah, we need to come and kind of understand where the younger generation is coming from. However, the younger generation still has to understand those traditional values are the foundations that we and your grandparents were raised on. So it's not so much that it's old school stuff, it's how to be a respectful young lady in the streets instead of what you see on social media, everybody butt naked, you know? So when we say to you, and Taylor, please understand, I don't want to point it at you being the youngest person on the panel. I'm just generalizing it overall. We don't want to see our girls like what we see on social media. So if you're Tasha's daughter, but I'm Tasha's friend, if I see Taylor in the street, what I'm gonna do? I'm
You
gonna do
better
what
call
old
me.
people used to do to me.
You better first address her and then call
I'm
her.
gonna pull your coat and I'm gonna pull you to the side and be like, I'm gonna need you to go put some darn clothes on. Because not because I don't respect who you are as a young lady. It's just how we were raised. We were raised with a village. So if my neighbor saw me outside any kind of inappropriate way, my coat got pulled. So that's what I know.
And
So
it's
it's
not.
not to say we don't agree or we hate everything about the younger generation or we don't understand. We just do things differently.
I want to give Sherri a chance to chime in, and then I'll come back to my thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna take it a little bit in a different direction.
You can do that. You can do
So
that.
I think that one of the things that I love is hanging out with 80-year-olds. Like to really be my girl, you got to be over 80 years old. And the thing that's hard about that is because, nature takes its course and then I'm sad and crying because you lose them. But the point I want to make is that there's a lot of wisdom in the older generation and there's an equal wisdom in the younger generation. So I
Mhm.
am a middle-aged Black woman, like I'm in the middle. And so I'm taking care of children and I'm not taking care of my parents yet because they're able to take care of themselves, but they're getting up there. My dad's in his 80s, my mother's in her late 70s. There's a lot of wisdom that we can learn and a lot we can learn from everyone. Everyone has something to give and everyone has something to gain. And so if you come to it with that type of humility, I feel so blessed to be able to call my mom and say, Mom, how do I do this? And sometimes I kind of know what to do, but the fact that I can still call her, because one day I'm
Right.
gonna pick up the phone and I might not be able to do that. Like with my grandma, she's gone now, and I
Mhm,
miss her so much. But I
mhm,
remember calling her and asking her, "What do I do for a what do I
mhm,
do for a fever? What would you say for this?" And just to hear some of
mhm.
that old wisdom, this is what you do. Are you gonna make a hot toddy on the stove? You're gonna do this, that, and the other. So it's being confident in what you know, but still humble enough to learn from those who are older than you and
Yes.
from those who are younger than you. Everybody's got something to give and everybody's got something to gain.
And I say that, and I like that you said that. Learn from the younger crew too,
Yes.
because we're not in their era. We're not in, and what they are in is the know right now.
Yes.
So they know what's happening right now, and they should be. We should be able to learn that from them and keep abreast as to what is happening. But in the same token, they must be willing to hear from us because most of the times we've already experienced what they are going to go through. Let us tell you that experience so you can have a new experience. Don't repeat something that we've already done because we know the outcome of that, whether you think so or not. We know the outcome. So you listen to us, gather that wisdom, and try something different. But on the same token, something that I think Taylor said was how you say it. Well,
Delivery.
yes, one of the things that I need everybody knows that everybody's different. Everybody's personality is different. So it's gonna
Mhm.
try to make everybody fit in the same mold where everybody comes off, hey baby, how you doing? It's not gonna work. This world, we came from our mold of our parents. And I don't want to say that we should change to fit somebody else. You I'm never seeking to be to understand, or I think I'm being sought to be understood because this is my personality. I'm going to treat you for your personality, treat me for mine. Don't try to change me. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just trying to add wisdom to the pot, to the conversation. And everybody brings something different. And I know where Taylor's going with this. She's always talking about how heightened I am, how heightened I am. I'm up here all the time because when I'm down here, is when there's a problem. As long as I'm still up here, we good. As long as I'm still up here yelling and screaming and acting like a crazy person, that's my delivery. It doesn't mean that I'm angry. Doesn't mean that I. So I'm looking for you to understand. I guess I am looking for you to understand that this part of me just represents one part of me. There's a whole other side, maybe 4 or 5 sides that we need to get to know in a deeper sense.
But I understand what Taylor is saying as far as the delivery, how you want me to learn something, you want me to see something, you want me to change something. It's the
Hmm.
delivery in which you give it to me. So if we have a topic of women supporting women, the first thing I would say is understand my need of how I need you to support me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then take that. So if I don't if I need support from you, I need for you to give it to me the way that I need it, not the way you want to throw it my way. Cuz then that's kind of one-sided.
But if that's the only way that I know, so
Yeah,
you're
but
still
when you
asking me to.
know better, you do better. You know.
Right.
Yeah, and I
Right.
get that, and I'm not
Right.
arguing that point. Hey, ladies, thank you for joining. If you want to chime in on the chat, just go ahead and put it in there. I'll drop it up for everybody to see. Rhonda said, "My coworker and new friend Lena has been that voice of reason and reality check when needed." Thank you, Rhonda, for chiming in. So, what I think the conversation that I'm having is that yes, the delivery needs to be thoughtful, but the delivery can't always be thoughtful, if that makes sense. It can't always be on eggshells. It can't always be soft, because if you're not listening to me when I'm giving it to you soft, then I need to change my delivery.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so. Here's what I think. I think that the dynamic between you and Taylor is a different dynamic, right? Because this is a mother-daughter dynamic. And if
Right.
you're talking about just two women who meet each other at work or at church or in any social, it's a different dynamic. And so it's hard for me to address that because my daughter can get to me like nobody else can, and in the way
Yeah.
that I feel like I feel called to pour into her life in a different way than I do other people.
Right,
Right.
So
right.
if to kind of like just back away from that and to say, in general, no matter who I'm approaching, I feel like nothing happens by chance and that
Right.
God puts people in our path. So I'm always praying for discernment. Lord,
Yeah.
what somebody's telling me something. What am I supposed to say? How am
Right.
I supposed to respond? Is this person, are they right now? Am I supposed to like give them an encouraging word? Tell them about when I was in their situation? What am I supposed to do? And I never know. So I'm always trying to listen and figure it out so that I can respond in the right way in that moment. And
Right.
sometimes I would have to say, especially if I'm talking to a girlfriend, what is that you need me to do right now? Am I
Right.
listening because you need to
Yes.
vent? Do you want me to try to help you strategize to fix it? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Because
Am
I
I
don't
Mhm.
know
supposed to
how
give
to
you a
respond.
response,
Right.
or am I
Right,
supposed to just hear you?
Right.
Just
exactly.
I have to put a disclaimer out first, like, okay,
Mhm.
you gotta let me know, because I'll tell you in a minute what I'm thinking. But if that ain't what you want to hear, you got to tell me ahead of time. But I do
Right.
have a question, ladies.
But
And I
keep,
want to
hold
piggyback
on.
off of.
Before you go to that question, if I ask you a question, I just want you to give it to me. I'm that person. I want you to give it to me raw. I don't want you to change it for my moment, because then that's not true. That's not
What
the
you
truth
mean,
feeling.
sugarcoat it?
Yeah, don't sugarcoat it for me. Don't sugarcoat it, because I might have a different reaction. I might go do something dumb based on the fact that you sugarcoated it for me. And I don't. I want the rawness. I don't want you to have to be able to change it up to spare my feelings.
But see,
I,
not
I want to
everybody can
piggyback.
handle that truth.
I
Hmm?
want to piggyback off of what Miss Lena said because I like that, and I know that's how you are. But even like in a professional sense, because I'm in the medical field, there's times where I'm going to have to deliver tough news. There's going to be uncomfortable conversations, and not everybody is going to, I'm not going to deliver the message the same way everybody to everybody.
Right.
So compassion doesn't always have to be sweet and oh my God, compassion can come with sternness. Compassion can come with, directness.
Ding,
It
ding,
doesn't
ding,
have to
ding, ding,
be
ding, 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 ding,
always
ding.
soft, but you have to tailor that. You have to know the person you're talking to and who you're talking to, because that way you can tailor the message to them. So you say you like sternness, but I know if I'm talking to somebody that's a little bit more sensitive and a little bit less adaptable in their emotions, I'm going to deliver it a little bit softer, but I need to know your audience. You have
Yeah,
to know
it's
your
called
person.
code switching.
that.
It's called code
Love that.
switching. You have to change for the environment that you are. You don't necessarily have to change for the person, but you change for the environment that you're in. If that
No,
makes
I still think you change for the person, because if I'm not that person that can take it raw like you can, I don't want you to sugarcoat it, but I need your delivery to be in a place where I could receive it.
Mhm.
so. When y'all
Like,
say that, what are you envisioning? Are
Like
you
more
envisioning?
compassion. You are a straight shooter. You're the type of person that like, okay, give me the facts. I need to know black and white, put it like this. But some people you need to hold their hands. Here's the facts, but I'm gonna hold your hands while I say this. Some people don't want you to touch them. Some people want you to just, like you said, I don't want any in between. But there's some people you have to tailor it to the person, because the environment may stay the same, but the person may not. You can deliver the same message, but you may have to tailor it to the person you're saying it, because they may need different deliveries.
Yeah,
and
So
but
how do
I
you?
think
I
Go ahead,
also
Sherry.
hear with that is, if you're yelling and screaming at me, I don't hear you, because once you start yelling and screaming at me, I shut down. So that delivery doesn't reach where it needs to reach, because I'm already blocking you out. But maybe if you come from a different perspective or a different tone or a different type of delivery, then maybe I can receive it, because now you're speaking to my language. I was about to say my love language, but everybody has one. So maybe the delivery first. Let me just say this: you gotta first be able to hear people
mm-hmm.
with the need. If I'm gonna support you, I need to know how you need to be supported. And I can't do it my way. I need to be able to hear how you need to be supported. Somebody
Sage and
said it depends on
Sunflower
the topic
says,
for me.
yeah. Sage and Sunflower says, it depends on the topic for me. My delivery needs changes. So she's code switching. She's talking about I change for the event, for the moment, for the time. You can't deliver it the same way all the time. Just and I agree wholeheartedly with that. You have to code switch. You have to know when and how to present it, the delivery, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I mean, I think if you see someone who is broken and crying, even though you may want to tell them, well, you're in this situation because you did it to yourself, is that the way to do it at the moment?
No,
Right,
it's
Is
not.
in the
No, it's
moment,
not.
it's probably
right,
not, right?
Nope.
right,
But so that to me, that is we got to pray for discernment. And what for me as a person of faith, and I know all of you are also, pray for discernment so we know how to show up so that we can be used in that moment. Like this person is brought across your path for a reason. So
right,
this is not maybe not the reason to tell them all of their faults.
No,
Maybe this is
it's
the
the moment.
reason to encourage them, or maybe they need a hug, or whatever the case may be. The moment will come for you to drop that more stern talk, but you want to make sure that you're dropping your seed on fertile ground. So we got
right.
to be able to discern when the ground is fertile and when it's not.
Miss Sherry, you come from one of the largest group of women on the planet, the Divine Nine, and tell us how you feel supported. What makes you feel supported in that group of Delta?
I never try to speak for Delta. That's not my place, but I will tell you that there is nothing like being a part of that sisterhood for me. At its core, it's a sisterhood of Christian women, and that's at the core of it. I made the decision to do life with my line sisters. We've been at this since 1998 together, sharing ups and downs and divorces and childbirths and child loss and new houses and lost houses and parents have died and all of this. And so having people who I've invited to the front row of my life and they've invited me to the front row of their lives to just do life together is a really powerful thing. And we can come together with no pretense. They knew me before I had a job. They, they know everything about me up and down, and we all make decisions about who we let come close. And so, for the women that I pledge with, those are called my line sisters. Those are probably the women that I'm closest to, other than my family on the earth. And I'm so glad that I have had the opportunity to do life with them because it's been powerful. They challenge me. They, they will tell it to me straight. They will give me a hug. They will, let me have it. Everybody says, Sherry's so sweet. And they will say, well, let me tell you, so she will get you together. So it's really been a blessing. But aside from those women who really form the foundation for me, it's an international sisterhood. And so just knowing that anywhere I go in the world, if I see someone wearing those symbols, that we have some things in common. We've got a commitment to service and sisterhood and scholarship and social action. So as I've moved around the country with my career, I always join a chapter because just right there, I have a built-in network. So I might not know somebody in the city, but if there's some deltas there, I know we have some things in common and we can get to doing the work together. And then through that, we build relationships that go beyond the service and really go into friendship. So it's been a blessing. It's been a total blessing to me.
Could
So
you
now you
I
don't.
want you to restate something. You said the front the front line of something. What was that statement that you said?
So I was talking about sort of the front line of my life. If you think, I think
Okay.
about it like
That
a
was
theater,
the phrase I needed. The front
like
line of my life.
you have a theater, right? And everybody's not in the front row. There's some folks in the balcony, and that's where they should be. And there's some folks in the wings, and that's where they should be. And you got your backstage crew, but there's some people who are on the front row because we all select. You have your girls that you're going to call when you're going through something. And then you have your people that you're going to see, and they say, how you doing? And you say, fine. And
You
that's what
keep
they
going.
get. You're
Yeah.
not
And
being
that's it.
fake, but they're
Yeah.
just not on the front row. They're not on
Right.
your front line, So we make decisions about that.
So
And
my
that's
question that I had from before is why do you guys think women struggle to uplift and be that support for each other?
I think for me, and this could just be a one off, I think we struggle with knowing how. Like you guys say, everybody here has says, um, pretty much you have to code switch for the moment. I'm my true best friend, I'm the same way all the time. She knows how I am. I know how she is, and we respect that. So when it comes down, we've been together since third grade, not have had one argument ever, ever, because we respect each other's differences. And if I don't want to do something, okay, you don't want to do that, that's cool. You don't want to do it, that's fine. But then when we're together, we have a different language. It's that raw, uncut, unfiltered. But then when we go somewhere, we know how to dress it back up, and we are the same around each other 100% of the time. And it's because we spent the time to get to know each other, to build that relationship. And I think one of the things that women come with is an expectation of some sort. You have to be this type of way with me in order to be my friend. And not everybody wants that. Some people want that, but not everybody wants that.
Um, so I have a couple of things, but I want to answer your question. I do take issue with your use of the word code switch because I see it sometimes as being seen as being less transparent and in a negative connotation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's that. It doesn't. I don't think at its core that's what it is, but that's a side conversation. I think that a lot of women are silently competing with each other, a lot of women, a lot of
Mm.
men. Um, And they're competing with each other at the core because they don't know who they are. If you were to
Yeah.
ask me, the greatest challenge that we people, women, really all people face is not knowing who we are and not knowing whose we are. We're in an identity crisis. If you know who you are and you know whose you are, you realize that you don't have to compete against anyone. God made you
Yeah. Right.
unique and special. And as my friend Dr. Tara Jenkins wrote in her book, you are enough. Like just as you are right now,
Mhm.
you are enough. God made you perfect. You don't have to be an imitation of anybody else. So when you know that, there's no competition. And when you're comfortable in your skin, you can say, I'm not fearless, but I've learned to fear less. Like this thing that I'm facing, it scares me. And it's
Hmm.
okay if you see that I'm scared. I'm going to put my big girl panties on and try my hardest anyway. You can be vulnerable. So we are in competition. We're afraid to be vulnerable, all of those things. And I think, there's strength in vulnerability and there's strength in community. We are created to be in community with each other. So while everybody might not be in the front row, if I see a young mom and she's struggling with something, what does it take for me to say, I remember that you're going to
Yeah.
make it? Like, I remember what it was like to have 3 children under 3. Girl, do you need a babysitter? Because I got you. I know when I couldn't afford one and I really needed one. I'll do it for you. I do that with some of the young mothers at my church. Nobody's taken me up on it yet, but I really mean it because I really know what that was like and how hard that
Hmm.
was. Or
Hmm.
when someone says to me, "Gosh, daycare is so expensive," I said, "Do you know? I remember when I was paying $6.95 a week, and I don't know how we made it, but God, and you will make
Listen,
it."
that child care was no joke. It was like paying a
It's still
mortgage
no
note.
joke. It's ridiculous, more ridiculous now. And to piggyback off with something you said, I just experienced at Walmart the other day. I had some scratch offs, and I only had $6 that I won, right? And I bought another scratch off for $2, and this little girl was getting some gas, and I could tell that it wasn't going right for her. And when she came in, she was at the pump. It wouldn't work, so she went inside and she paid, and I saw she only had $16 in her account, so she got gas. And I don't know what made her think that she was going to go get us some water, and it declined, so she went and put the water back. I walked outside and I said, here baby, go, those $4, go get your water, go get whatever you need, because I've been there, I've seen this before. And she just looked at me, she was like, you for real? I said, yeah, just take it. And I should have gave her the other ticket that I bought, because it had $10 on it, but I didn't know that. I didn't want to give her something that was gonna be a dud. So she was so thankful for those $4. And in that moment when you say you see a young mom, I understand that. Sometimes I would just do something for a random, to a perfect stranger, just because I need them to know that they're not the only ones that's been in that situation.
Mm-hmm. And you can make
Taylor,
it. You remember being in college and the little church ladies would come up and shake your hand and it'd be
slide
$10
you a couple of dollars.
in their hands, like the church handshake. So now
Yep.
I'm like, I want to be able to. Who carries cash anymore? Most of us don't carry a lot, but I want to be
I
able to do
don't.
that. I want to
I
be able
don't.
to be a blessing because we
Yep.
have been there. And if we are honest with people, you realize there's nothing new under the sun. Like our parents were not always honest with us, but that's the gift that we have is transparency.
Yep. All right,
You
Taylor. I
Really?
think she
don't
froze for
have to
just.
make it.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, am I frozen still?
No,
No,
not you.
Sherri was
You
frozen
know,
for a second.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
I
I
think
don't
Miss
know.
Sherry
Go ahead.
took the cake, though. I think she did because I'm happy you said, and I didn't have to say it and be the person to go in that direction. But secret competition is something I observe on the daily amongst generations. It's not even like a my generation thing. I see it from the middle aged women, the older women, and we really lack compassion. We really lack compassion with each other. There's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of secret animosity, and it's really disheartening, especially in the mom sector. I work postpartum, and a lot of the judgment, oh, why does she do this and she doesn't do it that way? Or why did she do it that way and not this way? And it's like, why
Right.
can't we be kind? Why can't we be kind to one another? It takes nothing from us to smile at each other when we're walking past each other in the street, and if you don't know, and even if you don't know them, it doesn't take anything away from you if you say she's pretty. It doesn't mean you're any less
I
pretty
do that
because she's
all
pretty.
the time. I
Mm-hmm.
It
tell
doesn't
girls,
take anything away from you, if you acknowledge, she has a really nice car. It doesn't mean your car's not as nice just because she has a nice one. Or, she has a beautiful relationship. It doesn't mean your relationship isn't as beautiful because you see things on the exterior that are happening that, you feel may not be happening in your relationship. We just got to be compassionate. And it's
I
really
think
sad. It's disheartening.
I think too, you have to be at a place with yourself, within yourself, that you're comfortable with where you are, you're comfortable with who you are, because you should be able to look at someone else and say, wow, you're pretty. Or, oh, you got a promotion? Congratulations. I didn't get the job, but my sister did. Girl, good. Get carry, pick up the next person behind you. But
Mm-hmm.
we're so used to being less than or being treated less
Less
than,
than.
that you take that role on at any given opportunity, that if someone has just a little bit more than you, well, I want to get more than you, or I'm going to take it away from you. Why? Why can we not just be happy with where we are at that moment and happy for someone else in on the other side? I don't
Sherri,
understand.
you get the prize tonight because I was playing devil's advocate without saying I'm playing devil's advocate. I wanted to be on the opposition just to see who was going to call me out. Okay. And you're the only one that called me out. And I did that just to see if anybody was going to say, well, she's not being supportive
Of what?
of each other. Oh, she froze for just a second.
You're
So
not being supportive of what?
of the conversation. I was really trying to push the conversation in a different direction to see if somebody was gonna call me out on it. And Sherri was like, I don't agree with you, Latasha. I was like, oh, there she go. There she go. Thank you, Sherri. There she go. I was like, okay, who was gonna do? I actually thought it was
Well,
gonna be
and I get
Taylor.
invited back.
I thought it was gonna be Taylor. I was waiting for that little little pie over there to tell me, Mom, you're being indifferent, but she didn't do it. I was waiting. What happened, Taylor?
I mean, indifference doesn't always have to be met with, like,
But you're used to it. So that's probably why you didn't call me out on it, because you are so used to me being indifferent with you. And I was waiting. I was like, gosh, you're not going to take the bait tonight. But that's all right. Ladies, we can be supportive of each other. I will tell somebody that they're beautiful. I will tell somebody that's a nice outfit. I will tell somebody, I don't know about the car. Um, I like cars, but I don't like cars. So it is okay to be honest. It's okay to be complimentary to each other. It'll take us a lot further in life, I think, if we start to build each other up. And it only takes a smile at a time. It doesn't have to be something huge. Just walk by somebody and smile. It works. It really does work. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any closing thoughts? Let's start with the youngin.
I'm just gonna leave my stance with that, because something my dad always said is to, like, leave the next generation with more than what you had. So as a woman that is younger, when I get older, I know it's not going to take anything from me to bestow some wisdom upon the younger generation, and it's not going to make me any less than for giving them that, whether that be in a professional sense, emotional sense, financial sense. Pay it forward or pay it down, because I know what it feels like now to be the younger person in the conversation, and the older generation not always being there to listen and things of that nature.
All right. Lena, closing words.
No, I'll let Sherry the guest go.
Um, so I'll just say again, and I keep saying the words of my one of my best friends is Dr. Tara Jenkins, and she has a book called Enoughness, and that book just talks about how the enemy's job is to make us think that we are less than in our identity in Christ, but you are enough.
You're frozen.
And so when you know that you are enough, you're not in competition with other people. When you know that you're enough, you know that you're on assignment from God to do whatever it is that you're doing on a particular day, even if it is to smile at a person. You never know, that smile may be the one person that someone else needs to hear from hurting themselves, and you never know that smile may be the one that someone else needs to hear from
Yep.
hurting themselves.
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely correct.
harming themselves. They were looking for something. When you know that you're falling, and so that's what it is. And all this other stuff that is at us, it is the presence of evil in this world to take us off of our mission. So I hope the ladies stay on mission to be the woman that God has called and created you to be, and to be the encouragement to others that He's called you to be. And you can do it, because you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Awesome. All right, Miss Davis.
My final thought is going to be leaving a challenge. Find a way. The challenge is find a way that you can daily be supportive of someone new. If it's a random person, a homeless person, show somebody some empathy. Do something different. Show a different way of supporting somebody. Come out of your comfort zone. So that's my challenge. Come out of your comfort zone and shift the narrative that we can't support each other, because we can.
So my thoughts on this is that my only life my only goal in life is to be positive. I try not to break anybody down too much. It happens sometimes and it's not intentional. If you ask me my opinion, I'm gonna give it to you. Um, but it's not to be mean. It's to prepare you for that person who is going to be mean to you. But my only goal is, and this is why when you see me post online, it's all positive, because I think with social media, we get enough negativity. As
Mhm.
ladies, we have this image of each other that what's supposed to be perfect, and that's it's not reality. And what I want us to realize is that the reality is I'm sitting next to you, I'm hurting, all I want is a smile. You don't even have to say something large and so wise that it makes me think. I just need you to put your arms around me and say it's okay. And that's going to be the takeaway that I give to anybody. Just show up for that person. Just show up. And it doesn't mean that you have to show up in this grand way. Send them a card, send them a text, send them an email, call them, put a note on their car and drive away, but just show up, because half of the battle is knowing that somebody is in your back corner. That's it. That's half the battle. And if I know that if any day I'm feeling bad, and it doesn't always happen that way, because I've picked up the phone and called everybody in my Rolodex and nobody was home.
Hmm.
So what do you do then? You gotta go in and you gotta suck it up and you gotta wait for that person to come, or you gotta pick yourself up and keep going. But what I want us to know is that just because I wasn't there in that moment doesn't mean that I'm not gonna always be there. All right, ladies. Okay. Well, I just want to thank these three, can I say, beautiful, incredible women who had this conversation tonight. It was a rich conversation. It was so meaningful. To my co-host, Lena, thank you for your steady light that you shine on us every time that you come here in this space, okay? And you are a true sister in this journey. And to my guest, Sherri Phillips, your story, your strength, your heart has poured into our inspiration into this space tonight. Taylor, our special guest who just showed up out of nowhere, I want to say thank you, beautiful queen. No, princess, because I'm the queen. Thank you, princess, for coming. And you guys don't understand. She is small, but she is mighty in her wisdom. She has a lot, she's very well spoken, and I can always count on her to bring you a conversation. It may not always be the appropriate conversation, but she brings you a conversation. And I am so blessed to be her mom, because she is actually very, very, very talented. This is what women supporting women looks like, and it's beautiful. So, ladies, I am going to close out. If you want to stay behind scene, stay here, and we can have. I have one more little small conversation to have with you. So just sit tight while I close out. All right. All right. So, to all of my guests who are watching, I want you to know that this journey and this conversation tonight is about empowerment. It's real. It's not a solo journey, it's with us collectively moving. Sherri, I wanted to thank her for her insight. Lena, again, and Taylor for coming on and shedding some light on this conversation. To everyone watching, you are part of this sisterhood, whether you're leading, healing, or just beginning. You belong here. Please subscribe to my channel, LSTV Let's Talk. If you're anywhere, want to be a guest on my show, you can always email me at scurry.latasha@gmail.com. And as we close out tonight, this is the episode that I want to thank you in a 5-part series. We are beginning to start our next series and our next conversation next week, and it is about careers and leadership. The very first topic is closing the ceiling, and we know how men are dominant in our roles in our careers, and we just want to wake up the conversation and announce that this is going to be a joy ride, and my first guest is going to be bold, brilliant, and beautiful. So I want you guys to join us next week, 7 o'clock, same time. Thank you, and good night, family. Bye.